rational selectors. Rational selectors. Rational selectors are actually depending on parent and child hierarchies, elements, and all. Actually, in the rational selectors, we have some already we learned in different points. Actually, so we are defining here effects. Let's see. So we configured here an ordered list. In that we have a list item. So this is some HTML, some CSS, JavaScript like this. Now we have UL, unordered list. Here also we have list item. Right now here we are having some MongoDB. So we are having some list item like Express. So like Node.js, like this we have. Now I want to apply effects. I want to apply effects to list items, but only for list items in unordered list, not for list items in ordered list. So now what we do in the style? So in the style we define li, list item, and I set color, some red. Now it is going to apply to list item everywhere. It is going to apply everywhere. I want only if they are present in unordered list. Then we have to use a rational selector. We have to use like this, unordered list space list item. So unordered list item. This indicates that it will apply to all list items only when they are in unordered list. This is called child selector. This is called child selector. So child selector is this. Child selector means the parent and child. It can be anything, not only ordered list, unordered list. For example, this is working for only unordered list. We have seen this in so many occasions. For example, we have a nav bar. In the nav bar, we are having span, like home, like span about, like this. Now somewhere here we are using span, right? And here I am. So here I am writing some version 5 something. Let keep this span here. We are keeping the span here. Now what is the point is, when we are applying effects to span, it will apply everywhere. So that means I want to apply some effect to span. So I will write span. For span, what effect you want? Some for span, I am giving border 2 pixel solid and some red color and padding as 3 pixel like this. Now it will apply everywhere, but I don't want here. I want only to apply where it is in navigation. Span in navigation only I want to apply. Then what we have to do? So we cannot directly define like this. What we have to do here, we have to use nav space span. So this indicates it is going to apply to the elements here. It is going to apply only to the nav. That is generally how we define. So this space indicates the child selector, means parent and child. In rational selectors, first important is child selector. Child selector. Child selector is defined like this: parent, space, child, and what effects you want. You have to define. Thus, we have to use parent space child. We have to use parent space child. And here it is going to apply. It is going to apply to all child elements. It is going to apply to all child elements. Means all the child elements under it, it will apply. So that is space, the use of space. So here we have another option here. You see, in the child, what happens in the child selector, we can use this angle brace like this. This is parent and child. This is also parent and child. But see what that happens. So it is going to apply to the parent and child. Same, it is working in a similar way. That means we can use a parent hierarchy and a child hierarchy. But very important, this will work only for direct child. This will work only for direct child. That is working for only direct child. Space will work for all child elements at any level. All child elements at any level if you want to apply. All child elements at any level. You can use space. We have another option. We have a parent and greater than child. Like this we can define. This is only for direct child elements. Only for direct child elements. What does that mean? I will show you. All child elements, direct child elements. What is that direct child elements? Let's see actually. Direct child elements means, so I will upload one document in that all these examples will be there. Means selector example will be there. So here you see now, suppose I am typing. Here a div is there. In this div, we are having some span. This is like home and another span. This is like about. Now in this div, again we have a div. In that we are having a span like contact. Now what happens is, for this div, I will put a class. I will put a class called menu. Now I am writing here. So menu greater than span. That means it will apply to span inside menu. Inside dot menu na? Yeah. So that means it will apply to the spans inside this menu. But greater than indicates only direct child. I will put color as red. Only direct child. Direct child means, you see, contact is not a direct child. Contact is not a direct child. Contact is again present in a div. Direct childs are home and about. That means home and about are direct child. You can see it will apply to home and about. For contact, it will not apply. So what is difference between parent space child and parent greater than child? So this indicates only for direct child elements. If I use space, what will happen? It will apply for all. At any level, it will work. That means it will work for contact also, right? That is the parent and child hierarchy. So you have two options. One is space, another one is greater than. It is for direct child elements. This is for all child elements. That is child selector. Another one, siblings. Another one, sibling selector. In the rational selectors, we have a child selector and a sibling selector. Sibling selector is written like this. Actually, sibling selector means we have an element, so plus another element. Sibling selector is defined by using plus. By using plus, we configure the sibling selector. Actually, this element is, what is difference between child and sibling? Child and sibling. Sibling means like brother, sister. That means after, before. That is sibling. Child is inside. Child is inside. Here we have sibling selectors. We have one is already we learned that adjacent sibling. Adjacent sibling is nothing. It is defined by using adjacent. It is defined by using plus. Adjacent sibling. We have all siblings. All siblings. It is defined by using tilde symbol. Adjacent sibling is defined by using plus. All siblings, it is defined by tilde. Sibling means that comes after. How it comes after? Sibling comes after. Usually you see, suppose now I am writing heading to web technologies. And here we said some P para 1 and P para 2. So P para 3, like this we define. So some para 1, 2, 3, 4, like this we configured. Now the point here is, here I am writing heading 2 and space paragraph, and I say color red. To which paragraph it will apply? To which paragraph it will apply? It will not apply to anyone. Are these paragraphs child of heading? They are child of heading. Then how they will apply? Space is a child selector. That means these paragraphs are not child. They are siblings. That means after heading, they are not inside heading. Child means inside. An element must be inside another element, then only you call as child. If an element is coming after an element, then these are called as siblings. Now you can see it is not applied to any paragraph. So now I am writing here heading 2 plus. Heading 2 plus paragraph. That means it will apply to adjacent sibling. Adjacent means immediately that comes after heading 2. Adjacent is who? Paragraph 1. So only para 1 will apply that color. Adjacent sibling means it will apply only to that. That means it is going to apply only for that. So that is adjacent sibling. So adjacent sibling is going to work here. You can see it is going to apply only for that paragraph 1. Only for paragraph 1 it is going to apply. Now you have tilde. This is all siblings. That means if I use here instead of plus, if I use a tilde, then it will apply to all. That means it is applying color to all paragraphs. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have adjacent, that is plus. We have tilde, that is all. Later you will learn how to apply to third or fourth or fifth. Currently, siblings means only two are there. One is adjacent, another one is all. Later you have options. We can apply to last. You can apply to any specific number, right? So this is basic sibling related options. That means here we have child selector and siblings. Two child selectors are there. One is space, another one is greater than. And two sibling selectors are there, the plus and the tilde, right? That is to handle the selections. Okay. Next important in the selectors. So we have attribute selectors. Attribute selectors. Rational selectors, attribute selectors. So the primary selectors, rational selectors, attribute selectors. Attribute selectors are very important actually, because many elements in HTML, they are presented using attributes only. For example, suppose I will show you here, we are designing a data list, data term, name. Now I give an input type is equal to text. Another data term, some age, and data definition here input type is equal to number. Like this I define. Some mobile, and data definition input type is equal to text. Now what is used for getting a text box? Which element is used for getting a text box? Input element is used for text box, radios, checkbox, buttons, everybody. That means whether it is a text box or it is a radio or it is a checkbox, is it decided by? It is not decided by input. It is decided by type. Na? Is it a checkbox? Is it a radio? Is it a number? Is it a password? Which one decides? Type decides. Is type a tag name? Type is not a tag name. Tag name is what? Input. Type is what? Attribute. So we have to apply effects based on attribute many times. That means I want to apply color for all text boxes. I want to apply color for all radios. Then I cannot write input because it will apply everywhere. That means, for example, here I am writing input. And input background color say yellow. It is going to apply everywhere. So it is going to apply everywhere. So it is going to apply the background color for input everywhere. You can see all. But I want to apply only where type is text box. In that case, what we do is attribute selectors are defined like this. Generally, attribute selectors are defined by using element, and in the square brace, we have to define attribute. Attribute. This is one technique, or this It is first one is nothing but, so it will refer all elements that have given attribute, all elements that have given attribute. That means, for example, that means here we write like this. I will show you that. Attribute means it will apply everywhere where that attribute is used. I will show you. We have another option. We have element attribute is equal to value. So we have to use element attribute and value. Element attribute and value is nothing but, here we need to define what is it. So it will refer to element whose attribute is defined with specific value. Specific value. This is another one. We have two options now. One is element attribute and element attribute value. I will show you that. That means this is attribute selector. This is attribute selector. In this, so many conditions also there, I will tell. For example, see now, I want to apply for only text box. Then what you can do is, here you can put in the square brace, what is the attribute? For input attribute is what? Type. Type is equal to, what is the type value? Type value is what? Type value is text. Then everywhere it will apply. So that means it will apply only for these two. For number it is not working. That means you defined only for type as text. This is attribute and value. Attribute and value. That means here we are defining attribute is equal to what? Value. Attribute is equal to value. It is matching with that value. But this is not possible every time. That is not possible every time, because attribute means it can be any attribute. Why it is not possible anytime? Because see, suppose it is okay, this is fine here. Suppose I am defining another option. This time what I am doing is, I am writing a paragraph. This is para 1 and paragraph para 2 like this. So we have some paragraphs, para 1, 2, 3 and para 4 like this. Now you can see these are all the options we are having. Now here, first paragraph have an ID as P1. Okay, second, third, fourth paragraph is having an ID P4. P4. Now I want to apply some color to paragraphs that have ID. ID may be different. That have ID, but ID may be different. That means I am not concerned about ID value. I am concerned ID is there or not. That means now paragraph attribute means in the square brace, what is the attribute? ID. And for that we will put color as red. Here I am not telling ID must be what? I am telling that only ID must be there. If ID is there, apply effect. ID value may be anything, because sometimes ID values are different. Then referring all of them is difficult, because all are not common. Different names are there. Then we just use a type option defined like this. That means we just define like this. That means now what it will do? It will apply everywhere where ID is there. If I have to write a value, then it becomes difficult. That means I have to give here is equal to P4, it will apply only to P4. So then how do we apply to all IDs? Individually you have to write. Then what you can do, you can simply define like this. Then it will apply only to these two. So this is called, this is important. This is what as attribute, and we have attribute value. That means only attribute you are verifying or its value also. It can be any attribute, ID, class, name, value, SRC, anything. We can use any attribute for element to apply an effect, apply effect. So here we have attribute selectors have conditions. Attribute selectors are having conditions. Attribute selectors have conditions. What is the condition? Already one condition you saw. Attribute is equal to value. This indicates, this is nothing but it specifies that the attribute is equal. This indicates that attribute is equal. That attribute is equal. So that is equal to, we have to use equal to. We have option like this. We have attribute, we can define like this, exponent equal value. So we have attribute, so tilde equal value. So we have attribute. So that means attribute have several conditions. We have attribute. So dollar equal value. Dollar equal value. So attribute have several values. We have exponent equal, tilde equal, dollar equal. These are conditions actually. That means now see here, first one is equal symbol is equal. For example, you see now, let's put some paragraphs again. I will remove this. Yeah. So here we have a para 1 and similarly let copy. Okay. So we have para 2, para 3, para 4, para 5 and para 6. Okay. First is having a class called effects. We have a class called effects. This is some effects class. Now I am having another class called para effects. And I am having another class called effects para. I'm just giving here effects para. Like this I am defining. So I'm having some class called, so here I said effects hyphen para. Right, and here I am giving another class called effects space para. And here I am defining another class, so para and effects space effects. Like this I am defining. Suppose I will copy another one, para 7, and here I am defining, so yeah, para hyphen effects. Now I am writing like this. I am writing para. What is the class? Attribute is class. Class I am writing as effects. Wherever the effects is there, we will put color as red. Now can you tell me to which paragraph it will apply? We are using the word effects in so many places now, right? But what is the condition I given here? Equal. The condition equal means exact match. Equal means exact match. Exact match, which one? First paragraph is exact matching. So you see here, the first paragraph is exact match. It will work for only para 1. Right? Now you see here another, I am using here exponent equal, caret equal. Actually, we learned this in meta character. If you remembered, I told you, we have start with, end with. Exponent is used for excluding, as well as it is slash exponent means excluding. We use exponent means it indicates starts with. Exponent indicates starts with. So that means this indicates starts with. Starts with. Now, can you tell me for which paragraph it will apply? First one is also starting, na? Third one is also starting. Fourth one is starting. Fifth one also starting, right? These are all starting with the word affects. It will apply to all. First, third, fourth, and fifth. That indicates starts with. It is starting with. Now, another important, this dollar indicates ends with. Dollar indicates ends with. That means I am using dollar equal. This indicates ends with. Now tell me where it will apply. First one will not apply. First one will not apply. It will apply. Why? Because it is both starting and ending. It will apply to first. After that, second. After that, sixth, and sure. Is there, it is a continuous word, para affects. Is it a continuous word? Word broken, na? It's broken, the word. So you see here, it is going to apply. So to the sixth and seventh also. First, second, it is applying. First and second, it is applying. And it is applying sixth and seventh. That means even the word is broken or spaces or hyphens, it will just verify, is it ending with that word or not? That means in the entire scenario, it will verify, is it ending or not, right? For that, we have to use this end with. End with. So you have the options, starts with, and we have ends with, end with. There are some specific conditions here. Actually, we have tilde equal. Previously used for tilde all, right? Tilde is used for all. But here, tilde equal means you can see it is applying only to the first, fifth, sixth. So first, another one is fifth, another one is sixth. Actually, tilde is nothing but tilde refers to the occurrence where it is independent. Independent occurrence. Independent occurrence. That means not mixed with any other characters. If it is an independent occurrence, it is not mixed with any word, then we have to use an tilde. That means we need to define that here. Tilde equal. Tilde equal. That means tilde equal is nothing but it defines individual occurrence. Individual occurrence. That means it should be separate. Either may be first, or it may be last, or it may be in the middle. It must be separate. It should not mix with anyone. Starts with, it may mix with anyone. but this is only individual. It cannot mix with that. Actually, we have another attribute. We can also use plus equal value. We can also use plus equal. Previously, where we used this plus, you know the meaning of plus equal. So class, so equal, yeah, plus. This is actually equal plus. This is actually used for defining spaces and all, but generally it is used with meta characters. That's the reason in the latest versions of CSS they removed it. It is now used with combination of pipe here. We have to use exclamation equal, pipe equal. We have to use that pipe equal. This pipe equal indicates it will apply the effects pipe equal, but it is C first and 4. What is meant by pipe equal? Pipe equal, it is applying to the first one and the fourth. Actually, pipe equal indicates that, so it must be independent. It must be independent. Remember, this is important. This plus is not there anymore. We have pipe equal. That means it should individual, and very important, start with and separated with hyphen. These all should match. These all should match. That means it must be individual, or it must start with and separated with hyphen. Start with separated with space, it will not work. Individual, and it should start with and separated with hyphens. That means individual means what? Individual means first one, you see first one is individual. Why fourth one? Starting with separated with hyphen. Separated with hyphen. Why not fifth one? Because it is separated with space. It is separated with space. Why not this one, seventh one? It is not starting with. That means pipe symbol means it should start with. It should start with, or it must be independent. Start with and must have an hyphen. Spaces will not work, and if it is present as a part of any word also, it will not work. And it will not work even if it is ending. Even if it is ending. So that is the condition to define here. So it must be individual, or it must be starting with and separated with hyphen. Anywhere means any individual occurrence with the spaces, without spaces, then we can just define by using tilde. So equal starts with, ends with individual occurrences separated with spaces, and individual occurrences and separated with hyphen. Separated with hyphen, but it should start with. These are the conditions. When you are using attribute selectors, for attribute selectors, these conditions are important. Right? That is why we call them as attribute selectors. Right? That is one option. Right? Next important. These examples I will upload. Not only I will upload one document. In that, the selector, its description, and its example will be there, a tabular form. Right? You can practice them by seeing that. Now, another important in the selectors, we have dynamic pseudo classes. Dynamic pseudo classes. We have dynamic pseudo classes. In the selectors, we have dynamic pseudo classes. Here, dynamic pseudo classes, so many are there. So now the first point, we need to understand what is meant by this. What is meant by dynamic? Dynamic means it will change according to situation. Dynamic means it is not standard. It will change according to situation. That is dynamic. What is pseudo? Pseudo means it is a, you can simply say that it looks like that, but it is not, it is. That is what pseudo. That means it looks like that, but it is doesn't means it. Right? That is called pseudo. For example, suppose I am using A. What we call this as? Can I call link? You can call as a link. It is a hyperlink, na? But if I say link, then there is a link tag also, na? This is pseudonames actually. That means I say link, but it will not actually apply to link. It will apply to home anchor. Right? That means name looks like that, but it will apply to something else. So such things are called as pseudo. That means they are not used with the same names. They are used with the pseudonames. Pseudonames. That is pseudo. What is class? What is a class? So first point, dynamic means changes according to state and situation. So pseudo, it is a false reference. Huh? It is a false reference. It is not the same reference that you are defining. Then what is a class? In computer programming languages, class, it is a program template. Class is called as a program template. So what this template contains? A program template with predefined data and logic. Usually template means it contains predefined data and logic. That means ready-made, some values will be there. Ready-made, some functionality will be there. That means without writing a functionality, automatically it will have some functionality. That means you just refer to the class. That class will provide you sample data and functionality. So in computer programming, class means program template. Generally, anybody who is learning OOP concepts, C++, Java, .NET, all these, everywhere, so definition is same. Generally, at learning level, they will learn like class is a model, class is a blueprint, class is some entities. Those are all okay. But above all, first level point is class is a template. Above all these definitions, first you should know that class is a template. After that, it is a blueprint or a model or an entity. At first level, class is a template. Template means what? It will contain sample data and logic. We just apply. It will take care. We don't need to write much work functionality. Generally, we have to write a lot of functionality. Without writing functionality, it will handle. These are all actually dynamic pseudo classes. Dynamic pseudo classes. Generally, how we apply these classes, that means class contains data and functionality, logic. Now we need to apply the classes. Generally, how do we apply the classes is, we have an element. To this element, or you can simply say selector. Selector refers to element, or it refers to ID, or it refers to class. This should implement the features of class. That means there are ready-made classes in CSS. It should implement that class. Then you have to use colon. Colon is implement operator. Colon is implementing operator. Colon is an implementing operator. That means it implements. Implements which functionality? You have to tell the class name. Class name. And you define here. That means this class is having a ready-made functionality. It will apply to this selector. In addition to that functionality, you can add more functionality. That is what template means. Template means they will provide some sample functionality. You can access it and you can customize according to your requirements. For example, generally suppose I am using MS Word. In MS Word, I want to prepare a resume. Then I hope there is a resume template. Right? That means what we do? We go to File. Templates are there. I will select a resume template. After selecting this template, when I click create, according to this template, automatically the data and all the logic is ready. Now what we have to do? We have to just customize according to requirements. That means we need to just modify the requirements. This is what template means. Template means already it have a functionality. If you are satisfied with it, leave it. If you want more, you can add. If you want, you can change. Right? That is the meaning of classes. So CSS provides ready-made classes. We can apply these classes and we can give more effects. Already we learned some of them. What are these dynamic classes? Dynamic pseudo classes. Dynamic pseudo classes, you have so many dynamic pseudo classes. Already we learned some of them. What are the dynamic pseudo classes we are having? Classes are defined by using colon. Colon, we define by using colon. If you remembered, so you have an option like link. So you have an option like visited. We have option like, so this is active. We have option like class like hover. Already we learned that. Right? These are classes. These are classes. That means generally hover is a class, active is a class, visited is a class, link is a class. So these are dynamic pseudo classes. What is the purpose of this? Link means it sets effects for all anchor elements. It sets effects for all anchor elements. Anchor elements in normal state. In normal state. In normal state. Visited means sets effects for visited links, visited anchors. Am I right? Active means sets effects for active anchors. Hover means sets effects when mouse is over. Actually, in order to do any work like hover, active and all, lot of logic we have to write. Now CSS majority of CSS, now CS is very much more improving. Mostly we are expecting by the end of this year, a new CSS version may come. So we are expecting, but not sure, because it is under still trials. Now 80% of usage of JavaScript we can avoid by using the new CSS which is coming. The new CSS is coming. Their main intention is to reduce JavaScript as much as possible. Why? Because JavaScript, when you write any effects using JavaScript, generally effects we write with JavaScript. JavaScript can be disabled on browsers. Browser can disable JavaScript. Browser have a facility of disabling JavaScript. I already showed you we can disable images also. Similarly, you can disable JavaScript. If JavaScript is disabled, all animations will not work. And why JavaScript will be disabled? Due to security. For security reasons, JavaScript is disabled in browsers, because JavaScript have security threat. JavaScript have security issues. That is the reason many browsers will disable JavaScript. And if JavaScript is disabled, animations will not work. Effects will not work. That is the reason now the modern web is trying to do all these effects with the help of CSS. Already it is doing lot of new things, but now it is more improving here. Already in the current version, we are learning. Our current, I will tell you, CSS we haven't started yet, right? We just learning selectors. Once we start CSS, I will tell you the versions. Actually, current version we are dealing with CSS 3. CSS 3 and 4 features we will discuss actually here. But later I will tell you the version here, because we still not entered into effects. We are just learning about how to apply, right? Once we start learning effects, then you will understand. Here, actually, I will show you a small point so that you can understand how it is done. Suppose there is a heading. Suppose we have welcome to CSS like this. I want to change color to the heading when mouse is over. Actually, what you have to do, we have to write on mouse over. We have to set color function. And here we write a script. So function set color. And here we have to write document.query selector, that is heading 1 dot style dot color is equal to some red, like this we define. And similarly, we have to write another on mouse out. So remove color. And here we have to define function remove color. And here document.query selector heading 1 dot style dot color is equal to black. Now you actually, when I move mouse onto it, it will be red. When I remove from it, it will be normal. This is how we need to manage a functionality. This is too much complicated. Now suppose I am writing here, so I am writing a paragraph. So apply effects with the mouse over, and you see I am writing a style. Wherever paragraph is there, the color will be black, and wherever paragraph mouse is hover, then color will be red. Now actually this hover, that means whatever the hover you written, this hover will do all this work. That means it will do all this work in the paragraph. Now you can see both are working same. Both are working same. But one with JavaScript, another one with CSS. Now why we need JavaScript then? In this case, CSS is better. Now you see, I will go to the, this is Edge, Edge, Edge :/ settings. I will go to Edge settings. In the Edge settings, I will search for JavaScript. It is Edge settings, JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript is allowed. I will block JavaScript. Currently, JavaScript is not allowed in my browser. You see, mouse over not working. For welcome, mouse over not working. Paragraph working. Right? Mouse over JavaScript not working. Paragraph is working. So this is the point. That means, again, I enable JavaScript in my browser. Now it will be working fine. Refresh, it will be working fine. That means the problem here is using a lot of JavaScript is not a great idea. But remember, without JavaScript, there cannot be web technologies. But everything with JavaScript means, at least for effects, animations, avoid JavaScript. For others, we need to use mandatory. There is no other way. But other effects and animations, we can't depend on JavaScript. That is the reason we have to apply using this. So technically, what is the point here? See, what happened, why I said that class means template. Class means template. That means this hover is a class which is already having a functionality like on mouse over. It is detecting whether mouse pointer is over the element. If it is over, then executing a function which is applying a color, which actually we have to write manually. Without writing any logic manually, we are managing everything by using a simple class. That is the purpose of class in any computer technologies. In any computer technologies, Java, .NET, C++, anywhere, OOP concepts, you will learn about classes, and the reason and the purpose of class is same. So class is used for handling various interactions. It comprises of predefined logic, predefined data and logic. So these are all pseudo classes. Now, how to use these classes? We have a link. What is the purpose of this? It will identify wherever ordinary anchor is there, and wherever ordinary state of anchor is there, it will apply effects. Visited means it will apply color for visited links. This is for active links, and this is for over. Already we learned this. Let's see. I will remove all this logic here. So how we define now the configuration here? See. Now here I am adding some design. Already we learned links. We will put an anchor, and this is like home, and href is equal to ./home.html. We will put a span here, and here we will define another anchor. Href is suppose http://www some amazon.in some amazon, like this. Okay. Already we used so many options here. Now see, I want to change the color of ordinary links. So anchor, now href is equal to some http:// some microsoft.com. So Microsoft. Okay. Now this is ordinary link. For ordinary links, we want to how to do, we have to use an anchor. We have to put a colon, that is class, and we have to write link. What is the purpose of this is, it will verify is link is in normal state or not. That link will verify is that anchor is in normal state or not. If it is in normal state, it will apply some effects. What effects? Suppose I will apply color as green. That means it will apply color green. And for normal links, I don't want underline. I already told you. Text decoration we will keep as none. That means it will remove for normal links, all of them. Normal state. Currently all are in normal state. Now visited links, I want to change color. Already we learned visited. We will use visited. Visited means color. I told you an alternate one, right? We can use in body section also now. In body section, we learned about two tags. What are those? A link and V link. A link is active link and V link is visited link. So we can apply through this, right? A link, V link only for active link, visited links. You can apply here for all. This is visited link. What is active link? We have to give active. On active, what should be color? Color will be red. Suppose anchor on hover. That means when mouse is over, text decoration, we will put as underline again. Underline. That means now you can. These are ordinary links. And when I click on this ordinary link, it becomes a visited link. And on mouse over, it is coming with underline. This is an ordinary link. When I click on it, it will be a visited link. And once it is a visited link, go back, its color is changed. On mouse over and press hold the button, that becomes an active link. That becomes an active link. That's generally how we can define, right? This is basically options like link, visited, active, and hover. Another important, hover is not only for links. Actually, link, visited, active, these three we can use for links. But hover is not only for link. Hover can be used for different kind of elements. We can use for different kind of elements with different type of effects. We can manage for that. That means what you can do here. Suppose here we are defining some image. I'm giving some image. Image source is having some dot slash. So this is again dot slash, that is public. Images. In images, we have some jacket. Width and height is 100. I'll just keep it like this now. Now see what we are doing. Actually, the image width is 100 pixel and image height is 100 pixel. That means the image will display in this way. Now we want some effect for this. What I will do is for body, I will give display flex, justify content center, align item center, and height I given some 500 pixel. It will keep the content in the center in this way. Now I am just writing here for image hover. I will change the width to 300 pixel and height to 300 pixel. Now you can see size is changing. That means when mouse is over, we are changing the image size. We can change the position. But already we learned here how much time it is taking for transforming. It is transforming immediately within a fraction of a second. It is transforming. We can delay the time. You remembered? one effect I told you while learning navigation bars, right? What we can give. uh, hmm, get out. Nonsense fellows, don't come to my sessions. Just get out. Every time on mobiles, time waste fellows, right? Now, what is the point here? What effect we can give? We learned about an option called transition. Remember? Transition. Because in order to change the effect, it will take immediate. Transition, we are defining transition, transmission timing. I will give timing as 3 seconds. You have to define in seconds, milliseconds. Later transitions we will learn. That means it will take 3 seconds to change. Again to come back, that means normal state. Again transition, we will give suppose 2 seconds, little faster. Now, when I move the mouse onto it, then it will get zoom, right? And when I move the mouse outside, then it will get back to normal. That means when mouse over, then it will give 3 seconds it will take to finish the transition. And again, then it will take normal. Right? We are giving the transition timing and we are defining that here. So these kind of things are common. You can give for anything, not only for image. We have letters. So that is the reason sometimes many people are confused how they write these effects. In some websites we have seen how we write these effects, right? That means the problem here is we know the concept, but we are not sure that we can apply through this concept, we can apply the effects. So actually see now, suppose if I want to do that for any letter, if I have to do that for any letter, suppose see I am writing here a simple span. So this is W. And for this I am giving class, okay? Class as suppose I say letter, okay? And I will keep here all are letter classes, right? So I will just give W, so or simply say suppose jacket, right? Like this I am giving CKET. Like this we are defining. Right now, what happens here? I will just put a break. I'll put a break here. This is the option. Now let's keep because all I given center na, I have to keep everything in a container. Then you can see everything will be in center now. Now see what we are doing here for class. What is it? Letter. For letter, what we do? Width and height. It is text. Na? For text means we have to give font size. So font size initially I given suppose some 30 pixel. That means it is 30 pixel font size. I will give here. I will just give here. So letter spacing some 20 pixel. That means some space between letters, right? And see here what we are doing is, means actually we can add lot of things. Suppose letter spacing is ordinary normal, 10 pixels. We are having like this, okay? Now what we will do, I will use here letter. Letter we are giving hover. Hover, what should happen? I will give letter spacing as 40 pixel. And I will give here transition as 5 seconds. And for letter, we have to give transition as 4 seconds. Now you can see what happens here. When I move the mouse here, the space, you can see space is adjusted for them. For every letter, the space is adjusted for every letter. Here just I am adjusting the space. You can see the space is adjusted for every letter. Right? The space adjusting for every letter and coming back normally. But not only that, I can just give on hover, I can add as a font size as some 60 pixel. And you can see its size will be changing also. Its size will be changing and it will be displaying in this way. When I move the mouse onto it, we can have different effects like this. I given the delay time as 4 seconds, 5 seconds, it is taking time. If I make this as 1 second, that means 1 second is normal. That means it will display fast. Right? When I move the mouse over, it will be fast. You can see already we learned one more. You can put a cursor. Cursor I keep like grab. That means mouse over. You can see this kind of symbol will come. Right? So this is the effect we are giving. It is moving because there is an image below. So if there is no image, we don't have any image there, then only this will work with that effect. That means when you are moving the mouse onto it, it will display. We can change lot of things, colors, right? That means here I added only this. That means here I can define color as red. So, and this color as some green something. Now you can see color also transforms from one color to another color. It will transform. Right? These kind of effects are designed by using the CSS attributes. Right? You can make a lot of things. You can make it rotate. You can make the letters rotate in different directions. Not only that. That means actually later you will learn transforms. You can rotate by various degrees, right? That you will see later, but here our intention is to understand what is hover. These are dynamic classes. This example I will give. Such examples already there. I will upload into the classroom. You can try them, right? These are all under the category of what? Dynamic pseudo classes. Dynamic pseudo classes. So dynamic pseudo classes is technically dynamic means changing the appearance according to situation. Pseudo means false. That means what the name is, they will not refer to that correctly. Right? Another one, class. Class means ready-made functionality and some values. You can directly apply them. So without doing any additional things we can do. But we are not satisfied with what ready-made it is having, because ready-made it is detecting whether mouse is over or not, but not applying any colors or effects. So we write extra effects for that. That is what actually dynamic pseudo classes. In this dynamic pseudo classes, we have, so another important, so in the dynamic pseudo classes, another important we are having, this is general, we have an option called element state pseudo classes. We have element state pseudo classes. Element state pseudo classes means usually HTML elements will have different states. States like, I hope you can recognize the element states. In HTML, what are the element states? Element states. We learned about the element state disabled. Disabled is an element state which will not allow to post. Anything else now? Read only is also an element state, right? Read only means it will not allow to change. Disabled is an state. Read only is a state. Anything else? Anything else? We have focus. Autofocus we learned now. Focus is also a state. Focus, autofocus we learned. Autofocus means element gets focus. That means disabled, read only, and focus. This comes under state. Not only that, another. Radio buttons checkbox. They have a checked state. They will specify whether it is checked or not. So that is also a state, checked state. There is another state, selected, that comes under another category here. Anything else? Disabled, read only, focus, checked. One I explained already. In hyperlinks, I told you, if you remembered, target state. In hyperlinks, I told you. Example also I given. Right? When element becomes target, intra-document links. If intra-document links are not scrollable, right? If they are not scrollable, right? If they are not scrollable, then we have to highlight them when it becomes target. Already we used it. We worked with intra-document links. There we have used it. I think still we have that example here. So we discussed intra-document links now. This is inter-document. This is intra-document. Yeah. This is intralinks. Yeah. Target. Here we used it. Remember? In this example, when user clicks on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that element becomes active. Automatically it highlights. For this, what is the element state selector we have used? We used a target now. There already we used that class. So for hyperlinks, we worked with the target. We used the target. Right? So that is basically how we need to define. So we have disabled, read only, focus, checked, and all this. These are very important. We will see. One simple option I will show you here means how we can use these selectors. Let's take CSS examples. Yeah. I will take a separate folder in our public. CSS examples. Okay. In this, I will just put a home HTML. And here we are defining a simple field set with a legend, and we will set here as terms of service. Okay. Here we will put a div, or we will put a text area. Text area we will keep disabled. Disabled is a state, right? In that we will put some information, terms of service like this. Okay. And this is normal text actually. and I will keep in one line so that I will not get extra space. Okay. And this text area will have rows. Rows, how much? Suppose 4, and calls, and say suppose 40. And below this, we will put a container. In this, we will put a checkbox. Input type is equal to checkbox. Beside it, I will put a span. I will say I accept. Right now, you see here, this checkbox have an ID. ID as terms. Terms is an ID. Now you see, this is the appearance, how it looks like. Now this is the terms. Now when user is not selecting, it should show red color. And when user is selecting, it should show green color. So it is okay. That means now what we have to do is we have to access the checkbox. How to access the checkbox? Style. So here ID is what? Hash. Hash what? Terms. In the terms, here we are defining. So in the terms we are configuring. What is the basic color? Which color? We want to apply the color for this span which is present beside it. Then how to use adjacent plus span. Am I right? Just now we learned. That means the adjacent span, because it is not inside it, it is beside it. Span color we will put as red. Now if terms is a checkbox, if it is checked, understood? Colon checked. That means it will verify whether it is selected or not. If it is checked, then the span beside it, the color should be green. That's how we do. Actually, earlier this also we have to do lot of JavaScript. We have to write condition if checkbox is checked. Now it is simply by using this class. Now you see here, it is red color. I selected, and it is again red. Not only that, you can do lot of other things also that we can do later. We can put a button, I accept button. That means when user selects the checkbox, button should enable, otherwise disable. Or you can make several appearance disappearance, like you can show and hide. That is done by using this option. Checkboxes we have to manage. Now, for example, actually see here, suppose there is a button here. That means there is a break and we have a button. Button, we have an option as submit. Okay. This is the submit button we are having. Now, this submit button can have a state like disabled, enabled, like that. Right? So that it will not work. When I make the selection, we can make it work. But not now. For that, little bit more things you have to learn. Right? So to handle such kind of other interactions. As of now, we can manage by using this. So technical, see, actually, if I write like this, hash terms, if terms is there in the terms, I give tilde. Tilde means at any location, means not adjacent. Suppose I return button. Display, I given as none. None. That means you see here button is not there. Right? Now see what I am doing. Hash. What is it? Terms. What is the class? Checked. It is checked. Then what should happen? So we need to keep tilde. What is it? Button. Button. We have to use display. Display as what? Block. display block. That means accept, then it should display it. Now I will not use disabled here. I will just keep it enabled, but I will not show that. I will put little break here. Okay. Now you can see I click here, it will display. I remove here, then it will hidden. That means you select, then you can manage. You can use combinations. We can apply the colors, we can change the effects, we can show hide the contents. These kind of things we can simply do with CSS, which was not possible earlier. Earlier in CSS, everything such ready-made classes are very few. Now recent versions have introduced some new classes we can handle. You have seen just checked and target. Target already we learned. I am not explaining again because already we saw in links target. Now we will see how to use disabled, read only and focus. That we'll see in next session. Right? Tomorrow we will continue. So many other selectors are said. As I said, so many are there. Tomorrow also it will continue. Okay? Tomorrow we'll see.